Welcome to Fits on the Go. We're covering live ACC 2024 in Atlanta, Georgia. My name is Connor Lane. I'm a cardiology fellow at Mayo Clinic, and I have the distinct pleasure to be joined by Dr. Michael Gibson, who presented the AEGIS 2 trial yesterday. Dr. Gibson, I've followed your career and very inspired by the work you've been able to do. Do you have advice for early career researchers and investigators as to how to follow in your footsteps? Any major tips, would you say?
Well, I would never say follow my footsteps. I think everyone has to find their own footsteps. They always have to march to their own drummer. Find something you love to do and find people you love to do it with. I think that's the most important thing. You shouldn't be working. You should be having fun. And it shouldn't be drudgery. I do think it's important to focus. When I was your age, I was already, believe it or not, as a fourth-year fellow running the CCU, the BI, and I somehow was doing a great job with some angiograms from an atherosclerosis regression trial. In those days, you're not going to believe this, you put the film under a microscope and you advance the film one frame at a time. I didn't have a cine angiogram. I had a one frame at a time Fred Flintstone thing, so I was focusing on every individual frame. So then Dr. Braunwald heard about this guy looking at all these angiograms, and he said, you need to be the Timmy Core Lab. I turned the job down because I was too intimidated. But I said, all these arteries are different in every frame, and I don't want to oversell this. He said, listen, just write the frame you analyzed down, and if there's something you did wrong, we'll do it again. So Don Bain, my mentor, said, Mike wants to do it. Just he'll do it. And I said, but Don, we got out of the meeting. I said, Don, we don't even have a way to play the films. So thank God we found a machine that, there was the Vanguards, but you couldn't do a video. You couldn't get it into the computer. Sony made a machine and we got it. But it was really by being a data collector. I collected the data. I looked at the angiograms and it struck me that, what if I counted, the number of frames for dye to go down the artery? Because that way I could defend to Dr. Braunwald why I said this was a 2 and this was a 3. And so I was presenting the results, and I had called it frames to pacification. And he hadn't really seen the data. I put it up, and Chris Cannon slid over a piece of paper, and it said it's called the Timmy frame count. So, the point is I collected the data. I came up with a hypothesis, tested it. Likewise, with the myocardial perfusion grade, I looked at a lot of these angiograms. I'm a painter. I painted them, and I was like, what is that cloud of dye down there? And began to analyze that. And, of course, it was the myocardial perfusion that really dictated whether you're going to live or die. So the lessons from my perspective at this point in your life is nothing's too good to be done. Be a data collector. Get in there and get an organic feel for the information. I also learned how to do all my own statistics. And for all of those early Timmy studies, all those angiographic trials, I was the statistician. So collect information, analyze it yourself. Don't depend upon a statistician. Get an organic feeling for what you're studying, generate hypotheses, and have a great mentor. Obviously I lucked out and had Dr. Braunwald as my mentor. He's been my mentor now for 37 years. So find something you're passionate about, find people who you admire, love to work with, and get deep down into the data.
Well, that's really great words of advice, and I'm always inspired when I come to meetings like this by all this fantastic research. So appreciate, again, you taking the time to talk with us, Dr. Gibson. To watch more videos like this, please check out youtube.com/FITsOnTheGo and follow us on X @FITsOnTheGo.